In Bond thriller number 6, Fleming offers up a buffet from Greek mythology: the birth of Venus, Theseus and the Minotaur, Perseus and Andromeda. There's even a fire-breathing dragon, along with a fleeting guest appearance by a kraken, or possibly a gorgon in disguise. But what's it all for? Bond is seldom the star of his own book. His opponents easily take the spotlight: a steely Smersh assassin, a colorful megalomaniac with plans for world domination. However, despite the title, Dr. No is also not the star of this one. He's a shop-worn leftover from Sax Rohmer pulp novels, whose chief goal is absolute rule over an out-of-the-way patch of oceanfront real estate nobody else wants. No, this is a book about a girl who is much more than we first imagined. As with Great Red Dragon, another famous work of art sets the stage, but this time Bond himself describes it. As he investigates disappearances near Jamaica, Bond watches island girl Honeychild Ryder at the edge of the water and thinks of Botticelli's painting of Venus, the goddess of love. Honey is an amateur naturalist who owns a prized collection of shells, Venus shells. When Bond takes her hand, his eyes are mysteriously drawn to the fleshy Mount of Venus beneath her thumb. But something's wrong here. Everything we know about Honey tells us she's no Venus. She's Diana, goddess of the hunt, protector of wild things. Even the creepy crawly things Honey invites into her home when their cane fields are cut. But Honey's been damaged, body and soul. The former virgin huntress feels the lure of a new dream, the life of a big city call girl, and settling the score with a brute who assaulted and disfigured her. Her other enemy rules the island as a sort of King Minos who is his own monster. In place of the labyrinth where the Minotaur waited for Theseus, 007 is forced to navigate the gauntlet, a metal shaft that's full of surprises, musing that it reminds him of the barrel of a gun. That notion grew into the art director's motif that signals the start of almost every new Bond film. At the end of the line, the mythical kraken waits to devour him. However, Fleming's description also suggests a gorgon's writhing hair, waving in front of the eyes like a bunch of thick snakes. Both Bond and the Doctor underestimate Honey. Dr. No uses her to reenact the sacrifice of the helpless Andromeda to the sea god, having Honey pegged out on the beach as a feast for marauding crabs. After her ordeal, Honey complains of being tickled a bit. She says it's because that species is harmless, but we know better. They made a meal of the last girl. They don't harm Honey because, well, they wouldn't dare. Though mysterious disappearances and something about toppling American missiles figure into the plot, Honey wants Dr. No punished for crimes against her natural world. He's an eco-terrorist, destroying bird habitats and threatening the survival of rare species. The real-life James Bond, author of Birds of the West Indies, would heartily approve of the way the Doctor gets his due. A fate so perfect, it seems engineered by the gods, or one goddess. After all, Bond survives the gauntlet because he's determined to save her. Fearing he's too late, he'll avenge her, though she doesn't need saving or avenging. He's in for some hospital time, but she's just fine, and in Bond's words, looks like she's coming home from a midnight barbecue. In an ending worthy of Greek myth, after threading a labyrinth and defeating a monster, there may be no Pegasus to carry them away, but the pair still make an escape aboard a mythical beast with wings. When he finally beds the beauty, the traditional coda to a Bond adventure, it's on her turf, and Bond has no illusions about who's in charge. 007 has put a damaged goddess back on the pedestal where she belongs. Just as Disney's Sleeping Beauty followed in the wake of From Russia with Love, this latest Bond thriller seemed to foreshadow a related film. The movie version of William Henry Hudson's 1904 book, Green Mansions, would debut a year after the publication of Dr. No. Audrey Hepburn stars as Rima, the bird girl, an orphan with a tragic past who seems to be a kind of guardian spirit in her tropical jungle. With his latest 2 books, Fleming had laid out a pattern for the remainder of his Bond canon. Continental Bonds would be fairy tales or Arthurian romances. Greek mythology was reserved for island Bonds, to be mined for short stories and 2 more books, one set in the New World and the other on the far side of the earth. The Greek name for the goddess Diana is Artemis, and a close look at a celebrated ancient bust of Artemis may tell us why Fleming decided to mar Honey Rider's beauty with a broken nose. At the end of the book, Bond pleads with her not to pursue cosmetic surgery, saying, "I love your face, just as it is."